What's up, guys? It's your girl Lisa from Breaking Barriers with Lisa. I'm back with another weekly video. So today I would like to speak to you guys just a little bit more in depth about my recent breast reduction surgery. I did mention in maybe one or two other videos that I did have a breast reduction over the summer, and so I just wanted to take some time just to give you guys a little bit of information as to why it is that I decided to have the breast reduction surgery, the cost associated with having said surgery, and also things that I wish I knew before I actually decided on having this particular procedure done. So like I mentioned, it was a breast reduction, also called a reduction mammoplasty. So basically with this procedure, I believe there are 3 incision types that the doctors usually choose from. I guess maybe it's based on different factors regarding the breast. So for me, my doctor actually went with the anchor, if you can imagine what an anchor looks like. So it has like, I was gonna draw it out, but anyways, you guys, you know what an anchor looks like. But it's like the circle at the top, then the straight line goes down, and almost like half a circle at the bottom. So that's basically what my incision looks like. And I think there are others like the lollipop, which of course is just a circle straight line, and there was another one which is the donut, which is just a circle. So for me, the reasons why, some of the reasons why I actually decided to have a breast reduction is just, I was having a lot of pain, neck, back and shoulder pain from just the weight of my breasts because they were quite large. Like my frame is really like small, and for me it's like whenever I looked at myself in the mirror, the first thing that I saw was just these really large breasts. And also they were causing like indentations in my shoulders because of course you have a bra on for several hours a day, and it's just holding these large breasts up. It's causing just indentations from all the weight. Another issue that I had was just a lot of bruising along the wire of the bra, which is like underneath and then the sides and my back. So I remember I had gone to one of the breast clinics here in Vancouver, and I was having a conversation with the doctor, and so when she had, she saw the bruising and everything, the indentations and so forth, she basically asked if I would consider going to a plastic surgeon to look at the options, one being a breast reduction. So I basically told her sure, and so she just, she told me what to do. I spoke with my family doctor, and then I was able to book an appointment with this plastic surgeon. So I know in some areas, in order to actually see a specialist, it may take some time. For me, I think from the time I spoke to my doctor to the time that I had the consult with the plastic surgeon, it was probably just around about 3 months. There was another plastic surgeon that I could have gone with, but there was a 2-year wait. So I decided to forget about that one and just go with Dr. McKee, who is the surgeon who did my surgery. So yeah, those were some of the reasons why I actually decided to have the reduction. So when I basically went in for the consult, he did some examinations, of course, and basically told me that all of the reasons that I stated are good reasons to have the surgery. So of course the next thing is how much is the surgery gonna cost? I know it's probably gonna be up there in the thousands, but fortunately for me, because it was a non-cosmetics procedure, it was basically covered by my medical services plan, MSP, which is what we have here in BC. So I didn't have to pay anything out of pocket, pretty much. And so the next thing, of course, that we discussed during the consult was the size that I would actually like to go down to. So for me, he basically advised like to go on the internet and just search up photos or images of women who have had breast reductions, and especially women about the same weight as I was, the same breast size or similar breast size to, you know, what my breast looked like at that time, and, you know, choose a post-surgery image that I would actually like to have my breast look like after my procedure is done. So that's what I did. The day of the surgery, I took the photos to the hospital with me, and so the doctor came in, did all the measurements, and I actually had requested that he went down just maybe one size smaller than the initial image on the from what I had found from the internet. So that's something that you guys can do if you are considering a breast reduction. You can start looking at images of, you know, other women who may have similar features like you, your weight and so forth, and just, you know, choose one that you would like your results to look like. So some of the things that I would like you guys to just keep in mind if you are considering having a breast reduction, because it is very important before you actually, you know, go in to have a consult and all of that. You need to do your research. You need to, you know, write down as many questions that you have, because that's also something that I did. You may just be going about your day, and sometimes, you know, something might just pop in your head and you want to just make a note of it, so by the time you do have your consult, you can ask your doctor and they can give you, you know, all the information possible, because you do want to make an informed decision. So some of the things to keep in mind are there are possible complications, including infections, blood clots, and anesthesia side effects, like nausea. So those things, especially infections, one of the ways that you can actually prevent that is to just follow the guidelines that the doctor gives you, and, you know, whatever information that is provided to you regarding home care from the hospital. Follow these instructions to the T. It is one of, you know, the most critical parts, you know, to prevent yourself from having infections and having to go back into the hospital. Another thing is, you know, of course, there is to be expected pain after surgery. For me, I didn't have any pain. I'm being honest. I did not have any pain. I left the hospital, wasn't in pain, came home, still wasn't in pain. So that's also something to keep in mind. Another thing is the breast size may increase if you do get pregnant after having the reduction, because of course, you know, with hormones and everything, weight gain and so forth, all, you know, regarding pregnancy, that's something that could also contribute to our breast increasing in size. So please keep that in mind. Another thing, you may not necessarily get the size that you initially wanted, because even for me, that is something that I am dealing with right now. I have noticed that my breasts are still quite large in comparison to how they were prior to the surgery. Just to give you a clear understanding of what I mean, my bras that I wore before my surgery are fitting me perfectly now after my surgery. And my breast size before surgery was actually 36 triple D. So that's the bra size that I wore before my procedure. So guys, please bear with me. I do have a cold. I've been battling with this all week, haven't even been to work, so excuse me. I do have a cough, but I have my water, so I can just, you know, I can have some water. But this flu has been trying its best to just keep me down, but I'm still chugging. Anyways, another thing to consider is that if the size that you want, let's say for example you decided to go with a very small size breast, excuse, and a couple months down the road you're not satisfied, you're like thinking, man, I went too small, it's gonna be really difficult to go back up. I'm so sorry. It's gonna be really difficult to go back up, and as we know, at least not naturally. So you may have to have implants or whatever, but that kind of defeats the purpose because you already had large breasts and you decided to have a reduction. So please keep those things in mind when it comes to deciding what size that you want. Really, really take some time. Do not rush it, but make sure you've taken a look at a number of images and you go with something that at the end of the day you're going to be comfortable with. Another thing with sizing is that also, just like if you went too small, you may not have gone down small enough and you may require a second procedure. So please keep that in mind. Also scarring. So of course, there are incisions that are going to be made, and there's the possibility of having really large scars. Some of them may actually end up forming keloids, and that's something I think there are like creams that you can actually use to prevent that from happening. And I think my doctor did mention steroids. We'll talk about that later on. Steroid injections that can be given just to help prevent keloids from forming. So also disproportionate breasts. So you may have one slightly larger than the other. Now for me, going into surgery, that was already an issue. My right breast has always been significantly larger than my left breast. My doctor, did tell me that he removed a significant amount of fat and tissue from the right breast, but even after surgery, it is still so. It's not crazy, in terms of, it's so much larger than the left, but it is noticeable. So please guys, keep these things in mind. Do your research. All right. So another thing I know you guys might be wondering is how long was the procedure. This procedure was only about 3 hours, and it was a day surgery, so I did not have to sleep in the hospital or anything. I think we went into the surgery room around noon, maybe between noon and 12:30, and I was out a few hours later. By the time I came to, it wasn't even 5 p.m. yet. But of course, you're gonna need to give yourself some time from the time that the surgery is actually completed to the time the anesthesia wears out and that you actually, fully come to. So now in regards to the recovery time, my doctor gave me 5 weeks off of work, and it was, it was more than enough for me. But yeah, I think a couple of weeks is probably what is given in most cases, but for me particularly, I got 5 weeks off of work. Now in regards to at-home care, you're basically gonna be given instructions as to what to do, what not to do after you've had your surgery and you now return home. It is very important to have assistance at home. For me, I had my Uncle Sam and Lani, so I wasn't out here doing things for myself, trying to straighten myself, lifting or whatever. It's very important not to do any strenuous activities, including lifting after your surgery. I did not do any of that. I felt so sorry for Lani because there were a few times that we actually went grocery shopping after my surgery, and poor Lani had to carry the grocery bags. But I think after maybe three weeks, I started lifting things, gradually, not just, going full on, but, slowly over time, to where now, 3 months later, I am able to do my normal activities like usual. It's no problem. Also, your pain medication. If you, like I said, for me, I did not have any pain. I did take my pain meds for the first 2 days just to ensure that, nothing came, because usually once pain comes on, it's very hard. Even if you've taken medication, it's very difficult to actually get the pain meds to kick in once you've already started experiencing pain. So for the first 2 days, I did take my pain meds, but for you guys, just please follow the instructions. Take your pain medication. If you are in pain, take your pain medication. I was also given medication for nausea. just because of the anesthesia, because we did mention that that could be one of the side effects that you could experience, but I didn't have any of those. Another medication that I was given was just some sleeping pills just to help with sleep, but I really didn't need it. I never took it, honestly. Yes, I did struggle falling asleep a lot of nights, because that's another thing when we get into all the things I wish I knew before I went into surgery. But I never took any sleeping pills. I didn't have any need for it. Another thing is wearing of your post-surgical bra and your bandages. So when I left the hospital, I was actually wearing this one. It's a little bit loose now because, of course, you know, all this wear over the last 3 months is elastic. So of course it's going to just get a little bit loose. But this is what I came home wearing on top of all the other bandages and everything that I had on. And they had actually given me an extra, just, you know, if this one, when this one gets dirty, I can just switch this off. And I actually had gone ahead and I had ordered this one from Amazon. It's really good, really snug. I'm telling you, sometimes honestly I could not keep it on because it was just too tight. Like at night, I remember a couple nights I probably woke up and took it off and put the pink or the black one back on because it was just too tight. But you do need that compression to keep the breast lifted, to keep, you know, to maintain the shape. Of course, you know, no showers. You can't just go take a shower, especially for me because I don't have a detachable shower head. So I could not just go in. I had to do like sponge baths and wipes and all that stuff. And it was absolutely miserable for me because it was during the summer. So you know, the summer was not playing with the heat. So I was uncomfortable most of the time. You know, you're sweating. You just want that water, you know, just flowing off your body. But it's, thank God, it's 3 months now. So I've passed that. But just, you know, yeah, be mindful. You can't go in and have a shower right away. I couldn't have a shower for at least the first week. So I was counting down the days to where I could actually take a shower. And even when I was given the go-ahead by my doctor to have a shower 1 week later, I couldn't have front-facing showers. So I had to have back-facing showers and just allow the water to just run off my chest because you don't want the water just hitting onto your nipples and the incisions and everything like that. Plus you don't want, you know, the soap salt and all of that, you know, going into the incisions. So yes, you still have bandages, but of course if those things get too wet, it's just all of these things you're trying to avoid. You don't want any infections, so the best thing is just to avoid, you know, having too much water flowing on your chest for at least the first, maybe I'd say 2 weeks. My sister Shari was, I mean, Shari was so paranoid. When I told her that I was gonna take a shower for the first time, she's like, I wouldn't, like, don't do it, just continue taking your sponge baths. You know, you have wipes, just wipe down. But I wanted to, you know, take a shower because I felt like I needed it. My skin needed just to feel that relief, just to have that, you know, calming, you know, sensation of the water just flowing on me. So also guys, keep that in mind. And for your bandages that are on, please do not remove them on your own. Even if you do see them lifting, do not just, you know, yank them off. No. The first set of bandages that I had removed were actually taken off by my doctor. And then what was left, I was advised as they're lifting, I could just use a clean scissors, sterilized, and just cut off whatever portion is lifting. You just cut it off and just allow the rest to just come off that way. But don't go yanking, you know, the tape off. You're just gonna be creating problems that you don't want. All right, so some of the things that I actually wish I knew before I had this surgery, Lord have mercy. So for one, it's just how long I was able to, it would take before I was actually able to sleep on my stomach. I don't know about you guys, but I am a stomach sleeper. Like I am so, it's so uncomfortable for me to sleep on my back. On my side, it's okay for a little bit, but my comfort is sleeping on my stomach. And I could not I remember asking my doctor because I was struggling to fall asleep. Like I was uncomfortable, I was tossing and turning a lot, and it took me about a month before I could actually sleep on my side. So I remember asking my doctor about it, and he's like, "No, you don't want to put, your weight on your chest. It's gonna, interfere with, the the shape of your breast, and you just don't want that weight, on them." So I think after about a month, he said that it was okay to sleep on my side, and I think over time what I did was I just ended up on my stomach. So it will, keep this in mind, it will take you some time. If you are a stomach sleeper, if you sleep on your back and it's been your thing, you're comfortable doing it, then you have no problems. But if you're like me and you're a stomach sleeper, then you're in for some trouble. Also, like I mentioned, another thing that I wish I knew before was just how long it would take before I could actually take a good shower. When I actually had that first shower after surgery, I think I stayed in there for a little while because it felt so good to actually feel, the water on my skin again. So that's one thing. And of course, do not forget. I know that a lot of people always say, like, you have a cut or something, a wound, when it starts healing, it itches a lot. My breasts were so itchy, and even to this day, my right breast, not so much. The left one, every day. Just talking about it, and I have the urge to itch. Like, it's crazy. It's not just the breast itself, but the incisions, especially the cuts. That's where the itch is the most. And I remember a few weeks ago, it was so bad. There was like I felt like I was going crazy. That's how bad the itching was. That I actually just went in and I just started just scratching. And the next day I actually noticed that I had blisters on the incision. Now I actually have a scab, a huge scab on my left breast on top of the straight line incision going down. So please guys, be mindful of that. My doctor, and I spoke to him about it, he did recommend getting an anti-itch cream. I did get one, the hydrocortisone ointment, but sis is she's not good. I've applied it a couple nights, and I swear in at least just a few hours I was back up, just wanting to just go in and just scratch. So I've stopped using it, and I'm trying my best, because of course we can wash our hands as much as we want, but our nails actually do hold a lot of bacteria, and I've come so far. I really don't want to give myself an infection it's just unnecessary. That's just stupid. But so I'm trying not to scratch, but I'm telling you, it will drive you crazy once these incisions are starting to heal. The itching is gonna start. It's gonna come. Okay, so another thing that I wish I knew before having surgery is just how long it would actually take me to wear a regular bra again after surgery. So I thought, okay, after the first 2 weeks, the breasts are gonna be nice and perky, they're gonna be uplifted, small, and I'll be good to go. And I can put, because of course it's the summer, I have cute tops that I want to wear. I haven't been able to wear these things for years. I want to look cute, I want to wear certain things, but no. It probably took me a month and a half before I could actually wear a regular bra again. Summer was practically done, and I wasn't able to wear a regular bra. So I was going everywhere pretty much wearing, I tried my best to wear this one as much as possible, because yeah, it's tighter, so it kind of keeps you lifted. But of course you can't really wear back out tops, you can't wear the little thin strap ones. So it is what it is. But yeah, keep that in mind, because if you think you want to just go in, get these boobs small, and in 2 weeks you up there in your back out, backless top or whatever, no, it's not gonna happen. No. So take that off your mind. And so I also mentioned, I think in the last video, that I had an appointment with my doctor. I think it was sometime last week. So during that appointment, basically I ended up just asking him, because I was really curious to know why it is that even after surgery my breasts are still so big. So he basically told me, after examination and everything, of course, that there's still some swelling. There's still some swelling that will go down over time. So if we're really talking about when we'll see a true reflection of what these the breast size will actually be after having had this surgery, it will be in about a year. So I do have quite a few more months to go, but he did say that there is still quite a bit of swelling, and if I'm not satisfied then with the outcome, then I can always consider having a second procedure done. But of course, I do not want to do that. I've had 3 surgeries already for this year, and I just want to get back into a natural rhythm where I can just go on about my life without having any sort of major health issues, just take care of myself as best as possible. So I do not want to put myself under that kind of strain, not strain, but I just don't want to put myself under that again. So I am satisfied with them so far. I mean, if we're really being honest, they're nice and perky, I don't have to lift them in certain outfits, so it's nice having that. I just really would like for it to be at least close enough to the size that I originally wanted. So we will see. I guess maybe in a couple months again we'll do another update, just to see if there's any change or if things are still the same. So with my right breast though, I did notice maybe a month and a half, or maybe even maybe about a month in, I realized that underneath my right breast, where the incision is, it's created this, I don't know how to explain it, but almost like a ruching effect where the skin is so tight, it's causing almost like ripples. So I showed it to my doctor at the last appointment, and he basically explained that the reason why this is happening is because the healing process in this particular area is just going on too fast. So he now needs to inject the area with steroids to basically give the healing process, the skin and everything, an indication like, hey, you're healing too quickly, you do need to slow down so that the skin can actually just relax and then smooth out itself. It's a little bit better than it's been when I first saw it, but yeah, I do have an appointment at one of the hospitals sometime next month to get that done. So I think, guys, one of the things that I might have forgotten to mention in regards to things to keep in mind if you are considering having a breast reduction is your ability to breastfeed after surgery. So one of the things that my doctor did talk to me about was, if I am considering having more kids, that it would probably be best to wait after having that child to then have the procedure, just because there is the possibility that I may not be able to breastfeed now that I've had the surgery. So it's just a situation where you may or may not be able to produce milk. In some cases, women do produce milk, but just not enough to actually keep the baby full. Of course, I mean, there's nothing better than breast milk. But if it's something that you really do want to get done, and you still want to have kids, but you'd like to get it done right away, then you can. I'm not telling you don't, but look at Leilani trying to creep out of the room. Whatever it is. But just keep it in mind, if you do want to have kids after you had the surgery, or if you want to have kids in the future, keep in mind that there is a possibility that you may not be able to breastfeed. So all of these things, guys, you need to take into consideration. And as I mentioned before, you do want to make an informed decision. As for me, I am satisfied with the reduction. I'm excited to see, you know, a few months down the road how it's going to look, if there's going to be any significant difference. But for the most part, I am pleased with it. I'm very happy that I did not have any complications, no infections or anything. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you guys, and that's all for today.